Let's get some more insight into today's verdict by the Supreme Court on the appeal by Mr. Hedoha. And we're being joined at the News at 10 by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Jibrin Okutepa, who is in our studio in Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Okutepa, on the News at 10.
Thank you, Amarachi.
What's your reaction to today's judgment of the Supreme Court in the Imo governorship election?
Well, I was not expecting anything less than what the Supreme Court did. The Supreme Court had consistently remained resolute in not setting aside or overruling itself in the same judgment, no matter how people cry. And I think it would have been a sad day for the judiciary if the Supreme Court was bullied into changing the stand it took. And I think that is what is expected. I know that the Supreme Court is supreme. I also take note that people complained of the error they made. That is within the purview of the opinions of people. But when it comes to justice delivery, we must give it to the Supreme Court, no matter how angry we are. Now, politics is different from the dispensation of justice in court. Judges are not politicians. They ought not to be politicians. And politicians want to win at all costs. And in any contest, there must be a winner, there must be a loser. Supreme Court spoke the same language when it came to Bayelsa. It spoke the same language when sometime in 2011, I was privileged in one of the matters in the case of Ugba and Suswam. Supreme Court said it cannot revisit its decision and that these provisions of our Constitution that gives them 60 days within which to determine election petitions haven't lapsed. They became effectively, their jurisdiction became effectively ousted. And I'm happy today also that it was a 6-1, which means that there is real hope that in no distant future, the Supreme Court may also have to take a look at whatever had happened. It is not unexpected that dissenting judgments are rendered in our courts. And I'm happy that it happened. I think that is a demonstration of impartiality of their lordships. And I think that notwithstanding our perceptions about their lordship sitting in the Supreme Court, my appeal to us Nigerians is that we must have respect for the institution of judiciary. We must make a distinction between judges that are sitting in the judiciary and the institution of judiciary. So I was not expecting anything less than what happened today. And it was the day that every one of us was looking for, so that judiciary is not intimidated into changing its position when it has rendered a position on an issue. So that's my expectation, and it came to pass.
And hopefully, you know, the lawyers have learned the lesson that the Supreme Court cannot overturn its own judgments. So do you subscribe to the fact that the image of the Supreme Court has suffered any setback in view of the Imo and Bayelsa judgments?
Well, let me say that judgments are not based on people's sentiments or political partisan interests. Yes, the way and manner our politicians both divide, carry themselves in this whole scenario clearly shows the immaturity with respect to them of our political class. They have not learned the act of sportsmanship, of accepting defeat, even when defeat stares them on the face. There was a time where some of these politicians went to embassy, and there was a time when one of them also said that nobody will be sworn in Imo State. I think we must learn how to be matured in our approach. We must learn to return to the judiciary. I think the best thing was done when lawyers returned to the judiciary to right the wrong. And even God himself has one occasion changed his mind when he decreed that Ezekiah was going to die. Ezekiah pleaded his cause, and God added another 15 years. So if God can change his stand, Supreme Court can also be persuaded. But in doing so, It shouldn't be by way of blackmail or by political pressure and causing them to change their position, like whether in climatology. No, they are not, because those are jurists of impeccable character and repute. And when I hear somebody tonight saying that all of them are bad judicial officers, I weep for this country, because even my Lord Justice Nweze, that delivered a dissenting judgment on your politics today, somebody came and he was a lawyer, and I weep. The judiciary must be protected. Right. I'm not saying all is well, but notwithstanding, I think the judiciary still remains the best among the three arms of government. And there may be some bad egg, but it constitutes a infinitesimal number of the majority of impeccable judicial officers.
Right, and that would be a good place to leave it, Mr. Jibrin Okutepa. Thank you again for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you, Amarachi. God bless you.